What's going on, y'all? We here at the pop-up in Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, Rob.
You know what I mean? I'm excited to be here. I got my guy with me.
Yeah, guy.
Benjetta.
Capital G.
In the building.
In the building, we here.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
So how was y'all weekend this week?
Man, this weekend was fire.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's priceless to be in a room sharing space with entrepreneurs from all over the country who look like you, have the same aspirations as you, and we like, it was like a Voltron moment. Like, we all just came together. It was
definitely mine.
Did our thing. And
y'all was turning up last night, as I heard.
It was a movie.
It was a good time. You know what I mean? Shout out to RPX to the 1% recession.
Yeah, shout out Marcus Barney. You know what I'm saying? Him 500, killing it as always. Yeah, man. So let's talk about y'all business. What are you into right now, Rob?
So I'm an event producer
Okay.
and strategist. I work with entrepreneurs and corporations all across the country and help them use events as a marketing and engagement.
Okay. Nice. Benjetta, what about you?
A business consultant where I help entrepreneurs be able to leverage their personal credit to access funding for their business to reinvest into making passive income. So
Y'all sound professional. And I'm Guy Leroy. I'm the tax sale guy. I teach people how to buy properties for as little as $400 at the tax sale. So that's what I do. So it's pretty interesting, right? Because with the event space that we have, that you have, you kind of bring all collectives together in order to conduct business, or what exactly?
So I tell people it's a few different models on when they do their event. A lot of it can be community building.
Okay.
It could be nurturing, or it can be a business endeavor to where you're doing this just to make money. You're doing this to earn some money, or you may be raising awareness for a cause.
Right.
So one of those three.
Okay. How hard is it to formulate and get an event going?
Events aren't as easy as they look if you've never done it before.
Yeah, I heard they're the hardest things to
It's one of the hardest things. It's also one of the most rewarding things, and at the same time, it's thankless. You know, when someone does an event extremely well, then it's just like, thank you.
Have you ever ran events with ads or promotion behind it yet?
100%. I use ads as a part of my strategy when I'm talking to entrepreneurs and corporations, and saying that you only know the people who you know, and it's definitely important to raise awareness on it, especially if you're looking to earn some money from it.
Now, Benjetta, I know you have business credit, the company that you have. So explain to us how important business credit is to the everyday consumer.
it's important on a level where we all need access to it, no matter who you are, whether if you are a consumer, a 9-to-5 worker, or even a business owner. Because how I look at it is we're doing business every day. From the time you get up to the time you're paying your bills, everything that we do in life is business. America is raised off business. So if you don't have a business, then you're really taking a loss. You know, we're paying taxes on top of the money that we're making, so we should be getting deductions for that. And as a business owner, you're able to do that. And then also being able to have better credit allows you to be able to access capital to reinvest into your business. So like, say, for instance, any entrepreneur, you're going to have to invest into marketing. You're going to have to invest into staff. You're going to have to invest into creating your platforms, you know, all these things. So it's important for us to be able to have access to the tools that we need, you know.
So when you're saying access, you mean like as far as like capital and so on and so forth, right?
Capital.
So
Other people
what credit score does the average person need in order to get business credit?
At least a 700. At least a 700. And nothing minimum, you know, because every credit profile is different. You know, you can have a 700 with some late payments, but we want to have a perfect 700 credit profile so we can go take that 700 to the bank and get access to $100,000 in funding.
Now, let's say if I come to you and I say, Benjetta, I want to do this, but my credit is shot. Like, how can the people know, like, what to do in that situation to get their credit?
Well, the first step is let's do a consult. You know, let's get out here and analyze your credit report, know exactly what's reporting negatively on your credit profile, so then we can start working on it. And then we have a dispute process that my company offers to be able to help our clients remove the negative items.
Gotcha.
Once we remove it, then it's time to build it.
Okay, boss lady, I like that. How many years have you been in business?
5 years.
5 years. Rob, what about you?
I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've been the past 4 years full time.
Okay. Yeah, I've been in my industry for 13 years. So, again, I teach people how to buy tax sale properties, right? And you'd be surprised, man. There's nobody in my field, at least, that is a minority-based, like, you know, situation where they come in and they see other like-minded or even complexion people in the sales. So it's one of those things where even in my field, it's just weird. So that's why I'm alerting everybody right now to, you know, buy tax sales because it's hard out here for everybody. Yeah. And if you don't have credit, you actually can buy tax sale properties with no credit. So,
have you ever considered a portion of the business where you help people not lose their home to the tax sale?
I have considered that. It does work also, but it's a lot of paperwork involved, and I kind of try to stay away from it just because the paperwork is just like, it has to be worth it. Let's just say that, because if the property's worth like $100,000, you can help somebody save their home and not go into foreclosure or tax sale or whatever, then yeah, you should figure that situation out. So, yeah.
That's
I'll teach
amazing.
you that. I can do that.
That's amazing. I like that. Yeah. No, I say that because I'm somebody like during 2008, during like the last recession that you had, my mom lost her house due to foreclosure.
Wow.
So it wasn't necessarily taxes, but it was just like
the average American. Speaking on foreclosure, this is what people don't understand. You can stop a foreclosure for up to 7 years. It's just that black people not black people, everyone doesn't know how to stop foreclosures. Because when you see a foreclosure, you think like, all right, they're coming to take the house, and it usually takes 3 to 6 months in order for them to finalize. But here's the problem. If people would stop being scared and actually answer the complaint, I don't care if it's a written note or actually I guess I can't say that. It has to be in a form that the courts want, but you can write it out and you'll stop the sale. It'll at least buy you 2 to 3 months. And believe it or not, lawyers are freaking regular human beings. Like, they forget too. So you got to see how you can work with them in order to get to the solution that you need. But yeah, you can stop a foreclosure for 7 years, bro.
Could you give us some tips on that? Like,
so, for instance, if I knew a person that was going into foreclosure, I'm going to tell you the secret. So, a foreclosure, whenever it happens, you have 30 days to answer. That's if you get served. All right? The sheriff usually comes to your house and gives you the paper. Well, what happens if you don't accept the paper? You just basically are on borrowed time, right? What the banks usually have to do is called publication. They have to publicize it in the newspaper saying, hey, this property is now going up for share sale. If they are successful at it, they move on and you still can come in at that point. If I was if I was helping somebody to stop their foreclosure, I would literally help them run out the clock each time and then file the last day.
Yeah.
Because not only does it buy you like 3-4 months, but the last day literally starts the clock over. And this is what banks and lawyers don't want you to know that at all. So you could do it that way. There's a simple method with it. But that only buys you like 4 or 5 months. It depends on how lazy the attorney is on that side too. And once you do that, you go back and forth. There's deposition processes. You have to have a hearing. A human being can't just lose a property because they didn't pay $1,000. The judge wants to see proof. And they always try to force people to like settle with the banks anyway. And another keynote is, if people don't understand this, like, you can negotiate with the bank and actually tell them like, hey, I want to get back on my regular payments. And if you have, call it the $4 or $5 grand that they need or whatever they're foreclosing on, you just pay them that. So yeah, it's that easy. So that's just 4 or 5 months of just free work that you can just get through. But you don't have to lose your house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure if your mom back then knew, it would have probably been a different situation.
100%.
Something new.
Yeah, but people don't talk about that stuff.
Great.
You know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think about this? Who was fighting the other day? Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Did you guys watch it?
No.
I saw
Mike Tyson lost?
He lost.
I heard.
He lost by, decision?
Points?
Yeah, decision of points, and it was sad, in my opinion. But
Why?
just because he's like 60,
Yeah, he getting old.
Like, why are you even fighting? But he did make 20 mil. So I'm not mad, but I'm like, Mike, I kind of wanted you to just, bow out gracefully in a way.
Do you think sports like this are not scripted?
Oh, I think it was absolutely scripted.
Yeah.
Do you think it's always been scripted?
Yeah. It's all entertainment. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Basketball, I know a couple basketball players that are in the league, and they're like, oh, certain stuff is scripted. We just can't.
And then I started seeing ads with Camilla Harris and him together, like they're losing.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Sometimes it's like taking over the mind and systematic things.
I think the system in general builds you to fail.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, if you see what's happening on social media, and this is very interesting, you see society pushing you to the point where you're being educated by newcomers like Benjetta, myself, or Robbie, right? But college and everything is literally failing everybody.
It is.
Like,
why you say that?
Corporate
Why?
America. It's only teaching you
because
how
they
to.
teach you how to work.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
it.
They're not going to teach you how to boss your life up. To do
Some
nothing
people need to
different.
work.
Yeah, some
Yes,
people are really
some people
bosses.
No, I agree with you. Some people do.
Everybody
Some people
knows.
are great workers.
Because that's an interesting topic, right? Because
Yes.
I'm someone who has always been an entrepreneur
Okay.
my entire life, right? And I'm 37. And I just graduated from Temple last year. I went back to school on my own, not to get a job, but to educate myself,
Yeah.
to add some extra, stripes to my jacket. And I feel like with me going to school, I learned time management. I learned better communication. I learned how to present. And I learned how to talk to people in a position of power to help me and get what I need in terms of professors, accelerators. I never had an internship, but even just talking to jobs and doing things. And I think that a lot of people who come from where we come from don't have a place to get those skills.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. The only thing is, like, again, my son, for instance, right? He's 17, and he's like, Dad, when I get out of high school, because he's not really feeling school, but he's going to finish it out. And I always tell him, like, you can be an entrepreneur and also just try to go to college to get that but get the education you need so you can get some structure within it.
Yeah.
You know? So as far as like discipline, that's what I want him to go to school for, to get the discipline you need, and that's it.
So I understand from both perspectives because I teach my kids the same thing. School is great, but I would rather have a mentor coming right out of high school because I'm going to waste more money in college where they're going to teach me a systematic mindset versus being my own, true authentic self, an entrepreneur, going out here and getting the bag. Even when it comes down to working, it should not take us a whole hour to make $20. They just teach us certain things that is not beneficial for the long run. So me personally, working gives you a little bit of structure, especially when it comes down to being able to, be diverse and deal with different type of people. But, after you get like maybe 25, you really need to have a real mentor who has already been through the trials and tribulations that you're going to go through.
I'm on both sides of it. I definitely see that there are people who should not go to school. But you mentioned it's systematic, like business requires a system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then $20 is a little bit, but how much are you paying? How much do I want to pay an employee coming out? It adds up to where it's like actually, so I just think that it's different prototypes of people and they're at different stages, like that could shift.
Yes.
And I think that people should invest in some structured learning, right? And when it comes to the fee, I don't plan on paying back what I owe on student loan. I'm in credit repair with people.
So,
you know what I mean? Like I know how to dispute the things.
The crazy thing is, I don't understand why school doesn't have financial literacy.
That part.
It's the most basic thing you could probably
Because if they taught it, it'll be a lot of millionaires.
Homeschooling does.
Homeschooling, yeah, but we're talking about public education, not homeschool.
Okay.
They didn't teach us about credit.
No, because we was talking about college. College has financial literacy.
But what extent?
So they start teaching. So mind you, I never went to college, so I'm going to ask the questions too. They start teaching you that in college.
In college, before you could sign your paper, you have to get an understanding of the loan. What you're signing.
They force you with that, yeah. But do they have classes for it?
I mean, how much time do you need to understand something?
Well, think about
it takes time.
It does take time,
Especially like this financial,
especially with credit and everything.
Yes,
yeah,
it takes time.
So we established that it takes time to learn something.
Yes.
So then that's what classes are important for.
Yeah.
No,
All
exactly.
around. You know what I mean? Whether
I
it's
didn't
college.
get that in school though. I got that from my mentor. If I didn't invest into my mentor, I would have never been able to get that information. I went to school for business management, and it really didn't teach me how to be a business owner. Like when it comes down to me structuring clients' profiles to get them access to capital, business school did not teach me that. So my point to say is they only teach you a certain amount for corporate America.
So what's crazy about this is school, from my point of view, teaches you that not only, you get in line and start working for the next man, right? But how can I put this? I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this, but it's not coming out. But I'm going to flip back to it because I had the thought. I'm like,
We all on the same page. I think that what I like to share with people is that for
I knew
me,
what it was. So not to cut you off, Rob, but here's the thing. So you don't find it interesting that people that are teaching you call it how to become a doctor or a lawyer in college, right? None of them are doctors or lawyers.
that's not true.
Bullshit.
A lot of them.
I went to business school.
No. All right,
Listen,
so go
I'm
ahead.
gonna just follow up on what you said. A lot of people have the conception that the people who are teaching the classes haven't done it. When in actuality, a large percentage of my teachers, why I have experienced success, because when I talk to them at the class, they killing it in the real world, and they chose to come back and give and to pour into people in this. So I've met people who were running hedge funds, running law practices at these places and having C-level positions, and some people want to come up, but they have had accomplishments in the world and they established it. Like, we're not talking about pre-K. You know what I mean? We talking about people who have done it. So when it comes to,
I've never heard of a professor like doing, like, if it business education, I've never seen a professor do what they say.
Man, all you gotta do is walk in. You in Atlanta, go to talk to some business professors.
Well, I will. I'm gonna make that my assignment
because you have to think about it, right? You in Morehouse or Temple or wherever you are, there's a filtering process to what makes a tenured professor tenure, a good professor good. And when it comes to student feedback, like, there's a whole chain that goes to it. And I would, from my perspective, the professors who were winning in the world, those are the ones who gave us the education that you guys are looking for, of like, listen, we got 16 or 12 weeks of curriculum, but here's what you guys really need to know. Here's what you need to do. We're going to have conversations in class. You just got to be on time. And you got to go hard at the assignments that you have. Outside of that, it ain't too much like book club.
Yeah, it's different. With me, I learned by doing, right? Because, give you an example. Right now, I have a mentor. I paid him $35,000, right, to teach me how to build houses from the ground up. I'm his one-on-one like student for a year. I would rather pay that than stay 4 years in college
and
to learn some bullshit about being an architect to build a house. Like,
how old are you?
39.
39. Okay, I'm 37. I think that, once again, we're all saying the same thing, because you're taking a 1-year class with one professor to learn one thing, right? To where at Temple, in-state tuition was, I think, in the 20s. And I learned a few different things. And when I first went into school, I knew I wanted to do business, but I was doing taxes at the time. So I wanted to take the accountant route. But then once I met an accountant, black guy, Dr. James, who was super fire, I went through the accountant groups, National Association of Black Accountants.
To Dr. James, though.
I went through these accountant spaces, right? And I realized, like, I actually am not that rigid. I'd rather find somebody. So then I went on to more what I was good at, which was marketing, guerrilla marketing. You know, I come from past life in the streets and things like that. So what I'm relating to what you said is that you have options. You could pay $35,000 for one class.
I got to that stage.
You can go to Voltech school, or you could say, yo, here's a few broad range of classes with some electives. Learn yourself, grow, develop. Like, I wasn't ready for school at 18, at 17. I would have messed that money up. I went back once I made a little bit of success and realized that the world is changing and shifting. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was working one of them bare minimum $17 an hour jobs for a few years, and I noticed that young kids, I'm 29, this kid's 22, he just graduated, now he's still working at my job, but he also worked for Vanguard making $80,000. So this money that I'm looking forward to every week, he like, I'm going to use this money to fix my car. And I'm like, hold up, this ain't uncommon. A lot of y'all, so like, let me go and figure out what y'all learning to make that 80 for somebody else, and then go and do it for myself.
You know what's even sadder? White individuals, they get all the knowledge way earlier than black students and so on and so forth, until they would go to college.
Not all of them.
Shoot, a lot of them do.
Not all of them.
I believe so, from my personal experience. So
I mean, so
it's probably about 75%.
Well, I guess it's the privilege, right? Yeah. That's really what I'm really saying. There is a such thing as white privilege.
It's a 47-year-old man working at a job that he don't like right now for minimum wage. He ain't getting no information quicker than us.
Well,
it's a 62-year-old European woman doing a job that she doesn't like, underemployed, no access, divorce, you know, all of the situation. They ain't getting no quicker than us. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm a victim of the criminal injustice system, of the social and political injustice. So I understand the disadvantages, but the reason why I objected like that is because a lot of our people subscribe to the doctrine of hip hop, right? So we lose the opportunities. You know, when I was 19, school, what?
Yeah, I was trying to be a rapper.
Mentor. You know what I mean? Like, we too up. Like, we're not into none of that. So it's like a lot of people who aren't African American don't immediately subscribe to the doctrine of hip hop and gangster life.
We don't have
so
access
that
to it
way,
either.
so that way now they're able to go and pick up a trade. They're able to listen to what their parents are saying. When you 15, the people who you and come from an African American background, generally, the people you look up to are on the screen somewhere.
Yeah.
Your parents don't even matter as much as like I'm trying to do what they doing. You know what I mean? So like I understand that there are racist bias. But I also feel as though, like, we subscribe to a certain doctrine for so long. And one of the reasons why I think that schooling, mentorship, college things are super important for us is because it lets you unlearn and relearn a new doctrine.
I also think the internet is very important right now because it's letting you unlearn and relearn a lot of things also at a faster speed as well. So think about, you know what's crazy? When you think about college and look at what they're doing online right now, right? You know how you have one-on-one mentorships. You can pay $35,000 for a one-on-one mentorship, but yet if you're in college, you'll pay $35,000 for the year to go to college or whatever, right? That's like group coaching if you think about it.
100%.
$35,000 for group coaching versus one-on-one for $35,000. I'd rather go with the one-on-one with my mentor personally.
You're right, man. It's something special about when you choose what you want to do because you have experience. We sat in the mentorship yesterday. All day.
So,
if you was in school, you would have been out.
It's crazy. I was having a conversation with my mentor because I have 4 mentors right now. You know, so I'm in Recession Proof, but then I also have another mentorship, which is Nove. They teach me about leadership, mindset, you know, growth, sales, and then Him 500 RPX teach me about business, you know, building my brand, connection, network, and then I have a mentorship that I invested $25K in to teach me about real estate and Age Corporation. So I feel like same way I'm investing into those mentors, it's just like school, but I have different mentors. So it's like different classes through different phases. And it all, to me, comes together because I need these key pieces in order for me to elevate my business and my growth.
So what I'm hearing is you in school whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Everybody
You're always supposed
in
to be a
school.
student.
Even
But
if you don't take no classes, no mentorships, you in the school of poverty.
You're absolutely right, but there's something about when you pay attention.
Yeah,
so
you definitely
you pay $25,000. Like I got 4 mentors, and you know what's going on with them.
I had to be active.
Yeah, they're active.
That's the price of a Stanford education, right?
But when you're in college, you don't have the necessities or the means to pay for it. Some kids go to college and they just like, all right, I went to college, I don't like it, I'm dropping out. But if they had paid for it, they would have stayed and listened.
Yeah.
My personal.
I understand. I mean, I think that like,
damn, 35,000 group mentorship is crazy.
We in a space and
you
time
get to
where
those levels. It ain't.
I also agree. You know, so I made those points so strong for schooling to kind of get to that point of people need school and they need to subscribe to a doctrine. But what you said about the internet is so true is because you can learn all of these things online for free. You can go to all of these sites. It's just different when you subscribe to something and say, okay, I am now this. I got the jacket. I got the RPX, right? Mm-hmm. Now when you subscribe to it, we're not learning anything. It's not rocket science. Mm-hmm. It's not information that we couldn't find on our own. Mm-hmm. It's coming from somebody who we respect
and who you
people
who
who
already
we trust,
been through it.
Already been through it, right? We've seen these people grow online. Mm-hmm. So like, so on the flip side, if we were to see all of our professors in schools' lives, we probably wouldn't do it, right?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
All right, so my mentor that I have, he's a very successful black man, right? Building modern homes, like $1 million homes. So I went to him specifically because I'm like, oh, you look like me, and you actually are doing it. All right, teach me how now. You know what I'm saying?
What was it that attracted you to him?
Well, besides he's building modern homes, it's just that he looks like me. So he's
just because he's black.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like, is it
no? But I had
posture.
My first.
What kind of car do we drive?
Shit. What the hell does he have? He has a Porsche, Lambo, Jeep.
What kind of house does he live in?
Super duper celebrity looking crib.
How do we dress?
Like me.
So these are the decisions that went into saying. Because I got a homie from New York who. Right. He ain't wearing nothing, and he on acres. I text him, yo, I just bought an acre on Tuesday, and he built homes, and I'm working with him to help him with some things, and I realized that there's a certain posture and positioning and output that'll make somebody say, yeah, I'm going to give you 35
So, like
grand.
with Marcus, when I invested 2019, it was how he carried himself, how he gave back to his community. And then also he talked about his story that was really relatable, you know, really coming from being a product of your environment,
Right.
you know, really coming from society where nobody taught us about financial literacy, how you can go and leverage credit. I had good credit. I bought a house at 28. What the hell do I do anything about? Right. What do I do next? I don't know what to do next. So it was like all those tools were relatable when I invested into that mentor.
I like that. I like what you said because I was introduced to RPX by $1 million worth of game. But what made me make the decision, you know, this was years ago, what made me make the decision, other than getting wins from the free information and then buying into like the smaller things.
Free information got me $100K.
What made me decide that I wanted to be in the mentorship was when he started to do wealth therapy and start to talk about his relationship.
Yes.
Because I'm in a relationship, I'm engaged, and the thing that really sold me. Yeah, thank you. The thing that sold me on this will be a person who I could learn from is because he was talking about a conversation he had that was similar to mine. I don't want my fiance cooking and cleaning all the time to serve me and show me love. I could eat at Chipotle and my auntie will come over here and clean the crib for me if I look out for her. You know what I mean? Like, I want something a little deeper, but I do appreciate those things, right? Like, yes, she cooks. Yes, she clean. Yes, I cook clean. But when a lot of guys who I know and who I talk to, like, yo, if she don't cook or clean, she ain't the one.
Well, that's right. Modern indoctrination.
So for me, it was like, once I heard him say, yo, listen, I don't need my woman to cook and clean. She keeps me strong. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. She keeps me strong. She builds me up. She helps me run these businesses. And she talks to me on an emotional and spiritual level. That's when I was able to relate. Because the lifestyle branding doesn't do anything for me.
Me either.
Right? Like, the cars is cool. I want one. I'm going to get one. I'm going to take a picture with them. But when it comes to who I'm going to give my money to, that's not it. For me, it's more like of a soul thing of like, this is an integrity person. This is someone who is trustworthy. This is someone who has shown authority in spaces around other leaders and stands. Then I'm like, okay, you somebody who, and it ain't even like I don't want to dilute and say I don't look up, but it's not even like a just looking up to as much as this is somebody who I feel proud to stand beside. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how I look at mentorship and learning and education is I want to be in a room where I can spar with people who have achieved things I've done and stand beside them so now we can go out and fight together.
So when it comes to a relationship, right, how important is it for your significant other to support you while you're running your business? Because that's a huge obstacle.
Yes.
So I've been in my relationship for going on 9 years. We've been engaged almost 2, right? So support has taken many different forms.
Okay.
You know, and
a man's mature when he says it takes many forms.
I'm just saying, right? Because a lot of people, I had different needs 9 years ago than I have now, right? And I was looking for something different 9 years ago than I was looking for now, right? So it's not just about, hey, do you
like me?
X, do you do X, Y, Z, or do this? It was more so on a chemistry thing, and I had came from a space to where I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't necessarily have success every time, right? I took a lot of losses. I was incarcerated, so now I'm dealing with coming home with drug charges, trying to get a job, do different things. You know, that's actually how I ended up in hospitality and events. But, you know, so the support that I needed at that time was something that I wasn't getting from other people, which was just emotional support, right? It was just, you could do this. Oh, I see what you did. You know, like, it's hard to get credibility from society when I'm just a busser at a restaurant. Right. Nobody's cheering you on, you know what I mean? But when you meet somebody, this is what I do. They do something totally different, right? And then I get that level up. Oh, I see you. Oh, you did. That was the support I needed at that stage. And then as the world started to grow and change and I started taking on all these responsibilities of, I'm about to live 24 hours. I'm about to do it. Now the support looks like, you sure you don't want to do this? You sure you don't want to take another step? Go hard, like, right? Like, it's not always, hey, yes, you could do everything. It's more so like asking me questions of things that I'm not thinking about because you care about things that I can't see. And it's for us, right?
The discernment of it,
Yeah, so like for me, the support has taken many forms to where it's like, okay, you know what? You got my back. and I got your back. I want you to win.
That's also why she got the ring, though. Like,
you know, it's so interesting because you said mature. That's a good word, right? Like love grows and love changes. You know what I mean? And once you hit we had reached a point to where she had went back to grad school during the pandemic. She was in college, and pandemic happened. Right. I got my own spot. She's living in Cambridge, going to school. So the decision is, does she come home and stay with me in my spot, or does she go with her parents? She went with her parents. And that popped me.
Yeah.
Right? But it also was a place of, you know, I was doing different things. I was working really hard. I was like out there. I do events stopped. I'm making different choices, you know what I mean? And I'll say like a year before that, before we went to school, we was at a stage of decision making. And she said, yo, come healed. She
said, "Come healed."
She told me, "Come healed."
I love that. That's a different level because you need to.
Because I was going through different things. Yeah. You know, being a black man in the world is tough.
And I don't want you to come break me down.
And we had already had some years in.
Yeah.
To where it was like, listen, this is what I want to do. Da 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 da. This is what and I was sharing spaces where I needed some healing at. Yeah. But all of it wasn't super deep and mature. Some of it was immature shit. Yeah. Right? I'm going to keep it 1,000. And when she said that, it hit me. And then when she went home to her mom and didn't come home with me, it hit me. So now I'm at a space and time where it's like, listen, I'm talking to her dad. I'm talking to everybody. Like, I'm really cool. Like, listen, this is what I'm doing with my life. This is what I want to do. Right. This is where I'm going to go. And I want you beside me. Yeah. You know what I mean? She at the house. And that's when she finally made the decision, said, you know what? I'm coming. She came. And then after we spent some time together, and that's how she got the ring, because it wasn't we never left or we never broke up through this time either. I haven't been on an on and off relationship, but we've always had that emotional connection to where it's like, oh, you need some time. You need to go to Atlanta by yourself. Every time I say, yo, come, that's something that you need to do. You know what I mean?
Right. So I understand that part, but do you feel a way of her not coming with you or no?
You know, initially I used to think that we should do a lot of things together. Right. But I tell people relationships aren't 50-50. It's 100-100, right? You got to show up your whole full self, and I show up my whole. She gets contracts, so she has an entrepreneurial proximity, but she's not a full fire-fledged entrepreneur. Right. Some of this stuff don't resonate. I am. I can listen to books, read, learn all day. You know what I mean? So I say all that to say, initially, in my not coming to this event thing, but initially when I was doing things, yes, I wanted her there. But what happens is, now you with me, now we working. We not even experiencing Orlando together.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
I'm working. Yo, I need you this. Yo, what you think about this? Yo, what you think about that? Da 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 da. And it becomes a work trip. And if it's a work trip, I should probably do it on my own.
Gosh. I know for myself, it ain't just about partnership. It's about everybody around you, all the relationships, my family, my friends, even my partner who I was dating at the beginning of my journey. And I felt like if they weren't supportive, it's the small things, because you can do things that's supportive that's free. Yeah. You know, I don't need you to invest into me. Yeah, share my stuff. You know, tell somebody, pass my card out. Guess what? Everybody has a credit score, and all y'all, the people around me was going through poverty, so all y'all need to be working on and listening to what I'm teaching. Right. But at the same time, I guess the concept, the mindset, the poverty mindset wouldn't allow them to go to that next phase. And that for a while hurt me. For like 3 years, I started traveling very hard because I was like, being around my family was a dark cloud for me. So, you know, even when it came to dating, I had to heal myself before I could date somebody else, because I was like, I was elevating. And then when I would be in a relationship, talking to guys about, you know, you need to get your credit right. I come with my credit right. I come with my money right. I got my own house. I got my own car. I don't really need your money, but I need for you to be able to invest into what I'm doing. Come with me to a couple of events. Let's do something different outside of the normal. And that was hard for me personally, you know, so I had to take a step back from like dating to really focus on my dreams, because a lot of times we want to take our people with us, and that's my dream. That's your dream. That's not their dream. So we're forcing a situation which can bring like a barrier in between what you're trying to accomplish, and it really slow you down.
It does slow you down.
I like what you say though, because like I feel that, right? But I also feel as though I don't think that all relationships, the people should be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's balance. It's different things like that.
You don't have to do
like,
the same thing, but
know,
at least support me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, just clap for me a little bit because it's
that's
like
mandatory.
everybody.
Yeah, but
That's
here's the thing
mandatory.
though: if you're telling somebody to support you and
Certain,
clap for
just
you,
a certain thing.
I don't think I would even want you then, because it's
Yeah.
like I gotta tell you.
I gotta tell you.
No, some
no.
people gotta learn, man. Some people gotta learn.
No.
Because they're the same ones that's gonna ask you for money. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, my family in the beginning didn't give a shit. I'm the same one that got my mom out of poverty and moved her into a brand new house. Ex-wife gave her a brand new house. I'm like, yo, y'all realize if I ain't work my ass off, none of this would be possible.
Yeah.
I think you gotta teach people how to support you.
No, because people choose to
You
do what they
teach
want.
people how to
That's just
respect
like exactly. You got to have boundaries and standards. Because once you step back and you're no longer being an enabler and doing the things that you was once doing before, then they'll be like, okay, well, I see Benjetta ain't really,
Especially when it comes to money.
Here's what I mean.
Yeah.
Here's what I mean. And y'all both are very right. Y'all hit on valid points. But what I say is that once you've qualified somebody in certain areas and you said, like, no one is at their top, right? But once you said, like, yo, I see you fully of everything and made these decisions and all of these are cool, but you don't necessarily know how to support me when I'm about to do a real estate deal. You don't necessarily, like for me, I used to tell my fiance now, I can't be a good girl, I can't be a good boyfriend to you when I got an event going on. And that used to crush her. But that was just the words that I had.
I think that's a mistake, though, because when I used to date certain people, perfect example, I used to tell girls back then, I'm always busy.
Let me finish.
Working.
What I mean is that I would say, yo, I can't be a good because in the next 4 hours, I got all my vendors calling me. I got so many people hitting me. I got so many people doing things. So the language that I used was wrong, right? But what I was saying is like, right, on these days, the attention that I give you is going to be slim.
I don't have the
and the
quality
type of
time to give
support
it
that
to
I need from you is a little bit more silent, right? I don't need you to be a vocal in person in my space because we could be having a talk. I got to take this call.
Totally
I got to leave at 1, right? I got to do different things, so that requires a different. I had to show her how to support me when I was busy. Yeah. Nobody could necessarily just come in. Can I cook something for you? Can I do something? Like right now, no.
I just need a little silence.
I just need a little space. I just need a little time. I go in another room, do different things. So I say that to say, had I not been mature enough to make the mistake to say the wrong thing, I can't be a good boyfriend to you. The feeling was right, but had I not been mature enough to make that mistake, I wouldn't have got to the space of, now we got a whole routine because she got stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it's like she don't need me in her every single space all the time. But when we doing it and when we together, it's real. And it's like we make that space. So now when we travel, it's vacation. Right. It ain't just traveling. When we go somewhere, it's like phone down as much as we can afford to, us in tune, find the things we want to do. It ain't even like, even the content is slim. It's like, yo, we just going to experience this and do it, as opposed to, yo, come to Atlanta with me to this mastermind and now you work for me for the next 2 days.
You my secretary.
Yeah, it's like, nah. That's not sustainable for everybody for a long period of time. We fill in and do what we need to do as we need to do it, because don't get me wrong, she been the secretary, been this, been that, and all that, but that ain't really what you want. You know what I mean? You want somebody you could.
I don't want nobody being my secretary. That's kind of like degrading, in my opinion. I don't want my girl being a dirty.
Shout out to all the secretaries. Secretaries rule the world.
No, they do. My VAs.
Yeah, we got the VAs. They the secretaries now.
Right.
Yeah, but to make my girl, I'm like, I don't want you to be a secretary.
So, Guy, you have explained. Hold on, can I put a compressor? Is somebody waiting for something?